Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-thru. Special shout out to Harrison's new dog. What's your dog's name? Sadie. Of course, I should have known that. That was my dog's niece's name. Wrap your head around that one for a second. Okay, so let's see what this says. For each situation, you are given a mathematical statement and two expressions. Decide which of the two expressions is greater if they're equal, or if you cannot determine that. Write an equation or an inequality that shows your answer. Explain why it's correct. So, for example, x is 8. Which is greater, x plus 5 or 3x plus 2? The answer is 3x, whoops, no. The answer is 3x plus 2 is greater than x plus 5, because if x plus 8, 26 is greater than 13. You follow what we're doing here, Carson? If they were all just that easy, this would be an easy video, but it is not. So, what I'm going to do, this is not a way to prove things, but sometimes when I get confused in math, I just want a simpler problem. So in this, I'm just going to have an x and a y. It says that x is bigger than y. So I'm just going to pick those two numbers in my head, okay? Which is greater, y minus x or x minus y? So, x minus y is greater than y minus x because x minus y is positive and y minus x is negative. Is that okay? Alright, number 2. I'll just change my color for each of these so we can kind of keep track. 2x minus 3 is bigger than 7. Which is greater, 5 or x? Well, I don't know. But before I quit, I can simplify that. I can't solve it, but I can simplify it, right? So, let me just get rid of all that crap since this view's Sonic. Well, I can't solve it because there's infinitely many solutions. But I can add 3 to both sides, right? 2x is greater than 10. Next step. So, x is greater than 5. So, which is greater, 5 or x? X. Because x is greater than 5. Got it. Alright. Which is greater, x or 2? Don't know yet, right?
Yeah, you gotta subtract 10.
So, subtract 10. And you get negative 2x is less than negative 4. Now, what happens to an inequality sign when we divide by a negative, Carson? You got to flip the sign. Do you know why, or do you just know the rule? Right. Which one's bigger? Pick any negative number you want, please, Carson.
Negative 62.
Negative 62. Now multiply both sides by negative 62. This is a joke. On the left side, you get negative 124. And on the right side, you get negative 186. Is that right? And which one of those is bigger, Carson?
Negative 1.
This one. So now do you understand why you flip the sign? Because that's the way the numbers work. Okay? So back to this one. Here, let me just... Negative 2x is less than -4. And what are we going to do now? Divide both sides by -2. And what are we going to do to the sign? And you get x is greater than 2. Which one's bigger? X. Got it? I forgot to change my pen color that time. We're going to black. Which is greater, 1 or x? Well, divide each side by 4. And you get ViewSonic, which is the worst. Divide each side by 4. And you get x is less than or equal to 0. So which is greater? 1? Yes, because x is 0 or negative. You understanding these? Alright. N is an integer. What are the integers?
Positive or negative?
So n can be any whole number, positive or negative. So,
N is greater.
what if n was 5? Which one would be greater? N. But what if n was -10? Then which one would be greater? Negative n. So the answer is, we don't know. That happens sometimes. Okay? Alright. So x is bigger than y. X is bigger than y. So what's bigger, x plus a or y plus a? If we add the same thing to both.
Well, it would be 10A.
10 plus a, right? Or 5 plus a. What if a is positive? So what if a is 3? Then what do we get on the left side? 13. And on the right side? And what if a is 0? You get 10 and 5. What if a is negative, though, Carson? What if a is -10?
You would get 0.
0?
And then -5.
So which one is bigger? X is always bigger. Oh, sorry, x plus a. X plus a is always bigger. Okay? Why? Because if x started above y, and you add or subtract the same thing, x will continue to be above y. Okay? X is bigger than y. What's bigger, x minus a or y minus a? I don't even think we need to write this out. It's the same exact situation. Five is greater than 4. What is bigger?
5.
What if x is a tenth? I still think it's bigger, right? What if x is negative?
You don't really know. You can't really.
Okay? What if x is 0? What if x is positive? So let's say x equals 2. What do we get? 10? And which one's bigger? That one, right? What if x equals 0? What do you get? Then they're the same. And what if x is negative? You get -10. And positive a. Hey, real quick, just want to say hi to Will and Anna Marie, two of my favorite students. It's good to have you guys in the drive-thru today. Enjoy your stuff. So, I think this is another we don't know. Uh-oh. Alright, I think this is the end of it, isn't it?
Yep.
5 is bigger than 4. Which is greater, 5 over x or 4 over x? Well, what if x is 2? We get 2.5. Which one's bigger? Excuse me. What if x is 0? Does this one look familiar, Carson? So when we multiply or divide by the negative, the sign switches. Maybe that's what this thing is teaching us. But I can tell you right now, we don't know. Because if x is negative 2, oh my lord, you get a negative 2.5 and a negative 2, and now this one's bigger. Got it? X is between 0 and 10. Y is between 0 and 12. Which is greater? I disagree. What if y was 3 and x was 10? Would y be greater?
Wait, we don't know. We don't know because it could be anything.
It's at a range, and we don't know where it is in that range at any given time. So while I do... Get away from here, flies! This is our Cinovation Lab. I just got it.
No, it's right behind you. Ah, fly guy.
Shout out to the fly.
Shout out to the Cinovation Lab fly. He's flying by.
So, we don't know this one. Three to the n plus 2, or 27. Which is greater, n or 1? Well, we know that 3 to the n plus 2 is bigger than 27. So, what if n was 1? Let's do a little case study. If n equals 1, then you get 3 to the third. No, it's not 9.
I fell for the trick.
And is that greater than or equal to 27? Is 27 greater than or equal to 27? Right? Is it? Yes, it is. It's equal to it. So that works. N equals 1 works. Does n equals 0 work? Well, is 3 squared, right? 0 plus 2 is 2. Is 3 squared greater than or equal to 27?
No, it is not.
You Sonic. No, it is not, so this doesn't work. Can n be 2? Is 3 to the 4th greater than or equal to 27, Karstog? Yes, it is. So here I think n has to be bigger than or equal to what? To this one. To 1. So, which is bigger, n or 1? N is either greater than or equal to 1. I don't know how they want us to answer that one. But I'm going to answer it like this. Got it?
Yep.
Can I get a boom?
Boom.